My name is Ken Howard.
The students that I was teaching in December of 1971 were interested in going to Russia and seeing how the communist system worked.
During that time, President Nixon
Was coming into the Kremlin that day, and I went there, watched the people very anxious, very positive about seeing the President of the United States.
Well, as I walked away from the Kremlin, when the convoy came in, a young man, about 2 years younger than I, walked up behind me and said very quietly, he said, "Would you like to talk to a Russian?" I said, "Sure."
His name was Igor Maksinkov. He got to telling me in great detail what life was like in the USSR. The young man was very intelligent. He spoke 7 languages. But it was very apparent that he didn't know a lot about things that I knew something about. So I decided I'd give him a quick quiz on the Bible. And I said, "Well, tell me about the Bible." And he says, "Well, it starts with Noah and Eve." And I said, "Well, he got it half right anyhow." I said, "Well, what else can you tell me?" And I asked another question, and he messed it up as bad. And I said, why is it you never read the Bible? And one statement that it just floored me. He said, "I have never seen one." But he had seen the cover of one twice, but he was never able to get one. So I thought that someone believed the Bible, they should have it. And so I began to be involved whatever way I could in accomplishing that. And I take no personal credit nor accolades for it.
I encountered Christians who were involved in transporting Bibles into the USSR. We used all sorts of things to get materials into Russia. They would take and modify gas tanks on buses, and even put Bibles and materials in tires. One time, I developed a automatic control for a boat. The boat was a boat that I had built to carry the Bibles in to the USSR. But the boat was designed to go across the Bay of Finland into Estonia or wherever it hit. And it would, when it got to a certain depth, it would sink itself. There was a hole in the bottom of the boat that had a seal on it, and an electric motor hooked up to a bolt, B-O-L-T, that whenever the sonar detected a certain depth, it would yank the hole out, and the boat would sink. A log would come up with an antenna on it that had low frequency, a short wave that they could zero in on, come get it, yank it out. I worked on that thing for 6 months or a year, and loaded it up one night in Vik, Finland. And we got out there and we were preparing to launch that thing. All of a sudden, the transmission went out on the control boat, and we were stuck out there with the cargo boat as the only way to get back home. That was quite some distance, because Kantvik was many miles away. And so
we had to turn around, and the cargo boat drug the other one back in to the shore, to where we had started from in Canada. Eventually, it was necessary to look beyond that to see what else we could do. I settled on the process of screen printing. Silk screening process is taking a frame, wooden frame, you make them yourself, and stretching silk screen material over it very tightly. It has to be very tight or you blur it. And then put ink up at the top by one edge, and then with a squeegee pull it down over the surface of the screen, and to get the imprint on the paper that's down beneath it. I sent 2 prepared screens in, one for the book of John and one for the book of Mark. And they received it very well. Word got around all over the USSR very quickly. We had 75 printing shops that we were running. When the USSR broke up, we were printing in all 15 republics. And that's all the way from Kazakhstan to Murmansk. How much, what all did they print? Mostly, they wanted witness pieces. They could not manage logistically, printing the whole Bible very easily. They said that whenever the USSR broke up and it was legal to print stuff, that they had produced several million pieces of material. And as I say, I think it was basically short lesson material and probably witness pieces and that sort of thing. I have in my possession the copies of the book of John and the book of Mark.
I've known Ken since about 1983 and have been intensely interested and inspired by what he and his team did to bring the Bible into Russia. And the most interesting thing to me is that they didn't really bring the Bible to Russia. They brought Russia the ability to produce the Bible themselves. And the amount of success that this had is just totally remarkable.